Today we have to talk about a bunch of guys that the Dynasty community as a whole is either wrong about now or is going to be the next guy that we're all wrong about. So you can classify this as sells if you want. A lot of these guys are actually currently overvalued, but this is just players that I think the Dynasty community is completely overreacting and getting the situation completely wrong. They're overlooking too much. The red flags are waving and you guys are wearing sunglasses. You're colorblind. So let's get into the video, man. If you appreciate the channel, help us out grow as a community. Join the join the Discord, smash the like and subscribe button, all that great stuff, man. Join the Patreon for free. And let's talk about a guy, one of the best receivers in the league, that you're wrong about, because you can't be the best receiver in the league. You can be, but you can't produce for fantasy with the worst quarterback in the league, Justin Jefferson. We all know who I was talking about here. So the reason that we're wrong about Jefferson is he's still ranked as a top 15 asset. Top 15 talent, yeah. 12 points per game in 2025. Played 10 games in 2023 because he was injured. That means 2 of the last 3 years he was a bust, complete bust. Now, JJ McCarthy will be the Vikings quarterback for almost, if not all of 2026. Now, can you say that for sure? Because JJ McCarthy can't stay on the field. You get what I'm saying, right? JJ McCarthy is going to be the guy passing Jefferson the football. They're going to give him another chance. And JJ McCarthy does not look like a great asset right now to have to boost or support Jefferson to where he needs to be that true wide receiver one. There's more consistent guys around him. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Ted McMillan even I think would be a better option right now. Although Ted McMillan is even overrated currently coming off the Rookie of the Year. But Justin Jefferson is someone that people are just the hype, the name, the gritty. We all know that this guy is in his prime. He's not even 27 yet. He's got 4+ more years left. I just think that his value goes down this year. This is kind of a re-roll, and this is where you got to think ahead. Justin Jefferson, he'll be fine. Like if McCarthy doesn't work out in 2026, we'll be gone, and they'll bring in a different guy to test out in 2027. Think of what just happened with Sam Darnold. So Jefferson should be fine, but by the time he's fine, he's 28. And then you start talking about 28, in his prime, but you start thinking about age, you start thinking about it, and he'll have another poor season under his books, meaning the value insulation will only be that much thinner, and his value probably goes down to somewhere in the 20s if he has another 13-ish point per game season, or if he was injured again. So Jefferson is a scary situation. It's a situation I'm not talking about. Ted McMillan. Ted McMillan is someone that's very young, and he just won Rookie of the Year. Hip hip hooray. He honestly didn't win it in my books because who won the fan vote? The fan vote Rookie of the Year is my guy. Underrated. Go buy him. Quick little Easter egg. Tyler Shuck. Great undervalued player right now. But Ted McMillan, 13 points per game. Honestly, not bad for a rookie, right? You think of year 2 breakout wide receivers. Everyone hears that phrase. Well, here's a wide receiver going into year 2. If he were to break out, what is he going to be at? 17 points per game? That's alpha. 7.5 targets per game as a rookie. Very good. Played all the snaps, that's good too. But before we get to the bad, 4 catches per game, 50% catch rate, yards, touchdown. The reason that this is the way it is because Bryce Young is his quarterback. You can be the best player in the league, Justin Jefferson, but if your quarterback sucks, so will you. And that's what's happening here with Ted McMillan. Now, Bryce Young is on a 5th-year option, so this could be very similar to the Jefferson situation, where they just move on from Bryce Young if he has a bad season in this must-earn contract year. Or do the Panthers just tolerate mediocrity again? They just made the playoffs. Let's say the Panthers go 7-10 next season. Do they tolerate Bryce Young again? I would say no, but the Panthers are kind of a troll team and quarterbacks are hard to find. Maybe you just take someone that's mid. You don't need a top 10 QB. You're a top 20 QB. It's really all up in the air here. Now, the thing that he has going for him is he's 23 and he's a good talent. So in the long term, he will be somebody that I think is a valuable dynasty asset. I saw the talent. I saw the production. I see it with my own eyes. Just saying in the short term, this is somebody that is very highly ranked and somebody that I think could lose value from where he currently is coming up in the future because of Bryce Young. Jackson Dart is ranked below T-Mac. I'd much rather have Jackson Dart than T-Mac. It's not even close. Nico Collins. Same thing. I would rather have Jackson Dart. It's not even close. I would trade him for anything. I'd rather have Pickens, especially if he stays with Dallas. And then there's some hidden gems here, which I actually would not rather have any of the guys below Collins other than Pickens there. Maybe Trevor Lawrence, maybe Loveland. But Nico Collins can't stay healthy. This guy is very volatile in terms of production, and he's very volatile in terms of health. What do I mean by that? Take a look. He's had a lot of 22 point per game performances. Now that's going to weigh his 15 point per game average, but the volatility is crazy. Like, he'll have 22 points one game, and then the next game he'll have 6, 0, 8, 9, 9. So that's something that concerns me a lot. Health and volatility. I'd rather have somebody that's producing 15 points per game than this volatileness, because then you're going to lose certain weeks where they produce goose eggs. And that's just something that's not tolerable for me personally. He's 27 years old. It's not old, but like, for me, the way I look at it, like, I do think he's got some miles on the body just because of his health. He's got a lot of different injuries, and he's turning 27. The Texans. The reason Collins does not thrive, for me personally, is the Texans O-line gets CJ Stroud beat up. It's kind of like the Justin Herbert experience that a lot of Chargers fans and people watching the Chargers saw this year. Stroud is under fire all the time, so he doesn't have time for the plays to develop, and that hurts Collins' ability. He's a good, talented receiver, but look at the guys around him. 3-year age reduction to Pickens, who's going to be on the Cowboys. That would be crazy. Jackson Dart, I'd rather have him. It's not even close. Garrett Wilson. A lot of guys in this tier, man, that, people are going to be wrong about them too. And you're seeing a trend here. This is the third receiver that is talented. It's just the situation is bad, man. He is stuck here as a New York Jet by his own will. He took the bag. He took the money. That's fine. Garrett Wilson has never had over 14 points per game. We are 4 years in. The value insulation that I have witnessed on Garrett Wilson is historic. It's crazy. The Jets do not have a quarterback. The Jets are never going to have a quarterback. The Jets will never get a quarterback. It's purgatory. It is purgatory in New York. Breece Hall is going to leave. This team's only getting worse. They made Dante Moore not declare for the draft because he knew that it was going to be a trap. It's a terrible situation. It's not improving. And he's making the most of it, sure, I guess. He's talented. He's getting targets. That's good. He's got the ops. Look at the catch rate. It's bad because the quarterback sucks. Same thing as Ted McMillan. The points per game, they suck. This is exactly what I've envisioned for Ted McMillan's future. So hopefully something changes for Ted, or else this is what he's got in his future. And Garrett Wilson, he is still young, below 26. But why are we valuing him this high when he's never been above 14 points per game? That's my whole thing and take on that situation. Right after him, Brock Purdy, 26-year-old quarterback. And I actually think this is somebody that could also be viewed as undervalued in the same breath as overvalued. I think if Brock Purdy can stay healthy, he is undervalued for where he is. I think he gives you undervalued rushing upside, undervalued passing upside as well. But keep this in mind. How much longer are we going to have Christian McCaffrey? I am out on Christian McCaffrey. He's turning 30, and the injury history there is too volatile. His passing touchdown rate took a massive leap this year because of Christian McCaffrey and the little halfback angle, halfback routes on the 2-yard line, right? He would do a lot of checkdowns to McCaffrey, and he always has done that to give McCaffrey receiving touchdowns. Now, Brock Purdy, health is now a problem. He does not stay healthy, and that is a trend that is just not overlookable. When he's healthy, I do think he's underrated, and he will give you 18 plus points per game if McCaffrey is there, especially. I think that once McCaffrey leaves, and oh, by the way, Kittle's 37 years old and also injury prone, this 49ers team is going to have some soul searching to do here in the next 3-4 years. And by the time you blink, Purdy will be 30, or he'll be, out for the season again with, leg problems or something. So it's a scary situation for Purdy, a bit too scary for me. Brave people might actually be able to return some value if they buy Purdy, and then the power plant nearby the 49ers stadium gets torn down and he stays healthy. It's just not a risk I'm willing to take. We're going to skip McCaffrey because I already just briefly mentioned him. But why is Christian McCaffrey ranked 53rd when there's great names around him? This is the number one name in this video that the Dynasty community is wrong about. Now, Derrick Henry is 32 and still churning along with a rate of 1 touchdown on the ground per game. And McCaffrey could be that next guy. He could still be here for 2 more years. However, 3 games played in 2020, 7 in 2021, 4 games in 2024. We all know the injury history with CMC, and that is scary. 30. Once somebody turns 30 and you see a 3 in front of their age, The Dynasty community usually does not like that whatsoever. I think his value just goes down once he turns 30, to be honest with you. And Chase Brown, who's ranked below him, averages 20 points per game over the back half of the year. You can get Fannin, you can get Judkins, there's Breece Hall, there's great names around him to go target. Goodbye, CMC. The Dynasty community is just wrong about him. T. Higgins. This guy's so talented. I've been saying it since this guy was a rookie that he is very, very talented. But since he's been a rookie, and really since his second year, I've been saying that this guy is too much of a troll when it comes to health. Now, attached to Burrow, that's great. Attached to Chase, it doesn't really matter. Like they're a 1A, 1B type scenario. Well, really, it's like 1 and then 1B because Chase is just a whole different league. He's a cornerstone asset. But he is very reliant on Joe Burrow's presence. When Burrow misses time, T. Higgins does take a pretty decent, reduction in terms of his production, whereas Chase can go from 25 points per game or 20 points per game down to like 15, 16 and still be producing at a decent level. T. Higgins, he's very good in the red zone. His touchdown rate definitely produced, some of these boosted point per game metrics. Is that sustainable? With Joe Burrow, it is. He's also 27 years old, and did I mention he has an injury history? So this is somebody that I am looking to tier out of, like Brian Thomas Jr. I'd rather have straight up, or maybe you can tier to a running back if you need a running back more because the running back values are pretty solid. Or I'd rather have Higgins than MHA. It's not even close. But do you go for MHA and see what you can get on top and take that risk with Marvin? It's questions, right? Cameron Ward. This is another big one. The Dynasty community is wrong on him for some unknown reason. People are treating Cam Ward like he is Drake May 2.0. 11.6 points per game, no rushing upside, no passing upside. Why are people saying that Cam Ward is the future? Number 1 pick, value insulation? I would rather have Tyler Shuck. It's not even close. The numbers don't lie to me. Everyone's saying that, they're not saying this, but they're treating him like he's going to go from 13 points per game to 20. Like Drake May. Drake May averaged 30 rushing yards per game in his rookie year. I hope you know that. Cam Ward did nothing. There wasn't any bright spots at all. Let's go to his game logs here. 2 games or 30 rushing yards. The rest was absolutely nothing. Now, he showed some improvement in touchdown rate and passing overall, weeks 14 to week 17. That's solid. 15. Are you really clapping your hands for 15 points per game? No. No. Absolutely not. Not looking at him. Saquon Barkley, I honestly don't. It's hard to get a gauge because the Dynasty community is very split on Saquon. Half of the community thinks that Saquon could play until 32, 33, and be producing 15 points per game. The other half thinks this guy's injury prone and thinks this guy is now going to be an old only if you're a contending team holding asset. I see both sides of the picture here. Again, I just see that once you turn 30, the value decreases. So I enjoy getting rid of Saquon while he's currently at value. You can go get a guy like Chase Brown, who we already talked about, and that's just a great lateral pivot to make, or even Fannin. I also lean more towards the camp where I do think Saquon breaks the trend, and I do think Saquon stays in Philly for the next 2-3 seasons and actually plays pretty well, returns decent value. So I think in the short term, for one more season, you're probably safe to hold Saquon, but I would look to pivot from him before he turns 30 years old. Josh Jacobs, the Dynasty community is trolling on this one. He's only 27, but don't be fooled. 15 points per game, don't be fooled. The snap rate was very low because you have an aging running back that was just injured. Sure, maybe the injuries hindered him, but the receiving role was a little bit declined. 2.4 receptions per game, a little bit lower than usual. But what I do not like to see is that his efficiency was down and his touchdown rate was very high. So the reason his points per game was, trickable, that you guys still think he's elite, RB14 finish, is because he had 1 touchdown every single game. Touchdown regression is the number 1 shatterer of dreams. And the touchdown regression here, if we had Jacobs back to where it was 2 years ago, yikes. Now, Green Bay is a team that scores a lot, and if he stays in Green Bay, which he should, then his touchdown rate could still be, 0.7 touchdowns per game or higher, and he could still be 13 plus points per game. That's definitely I definitely see that happening if he stays in Green Bay. I'm just saying that regression seems imminent. Pair that with age and just being injured this season and a reduced snap rate, 60% of the snaps. I don't know. I'm scared of that. Final one, controversial, Michael Wilson. I think we're wrong, guys. I think you're wrong. I do not. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm scared of everybody talking about Michael Wilson this, Michael Wilson that. Bum. Yeah. Snap rate, 81. Snap rate, 81. Snap rate, 81. He just wasn't getting the targets, you could argue, right? Like, nothing really changed here for Wilson, I guess, except for the targets, which doubled. So that's a good sign that he was just getting more looks, and maybe he gets more looks moving forward. Quarterback, big asterisk. A lot of mouths to feed. MHJ. You know, just because he's not necessarily digesting the food doesn't mean he's not going to be wanting to get fed. Trey McBride, you're going to want to feed him. You want to feed him, and he's making the most of his opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Michael Wilson is going to be third in line here at best in this Cardinals team, which is without a quarterback currently, unless you have Brissett. And if you have Brissett, then honestly, sign me up for Wilson in the short term here. Brissett might actually target Wilson just as much, if not more, than MHJ, which we did actually see some of the weeks that they were concurrently both out there on the field. But Michael Wilson's a scary name right now. It's just a name that I'm not really willing to pay up, because this is somebody where he had the breakout and he actually rose in price, where you'll see guys like Kyle Pitts and Chase Brown and Kyron Williams, Tyler Shuck, where they break out, but it's a soft breakout and their price doesn't change as much in terms of the overall community rankings. Hopefully this video was insightful and really interesting. Gave you some guys that I just think that the Dynasty community, these are the guys that people will be looking back and be like, man, how did we not see the writing on the wall? That's what I'm trying to interpret, right? Smash that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one.